Attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching, yes.
Saturday afternoon here in New York City. Game 2 of the Subway Series. The Yankees and the Mets, both sides represented as the fans head in to Yankee Stadium. And it is time for baseball as the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the New York Mets in Game 2 of a 3-game set from the stadium here in the Bronx. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with Paul O'Neill and David Cohn. I'm Michael Kay. Yankees won the first game of this 3-game set, 6-2 yesterday, and the big guys, 2, 3, and 4, they did the hitting. And you know what? Cody Bellinger's been doing a lot of hitting of late. He has an 11-game hitting streak. He had 3 hits last night.
Yeah, he had a big game last night, and Cody Bellinger's really turning his season around. You know where you got him from Chicago. He could play a lot of positions, but you wanted him to hit, and he's starting to hit the baseball. When you're going well, even the cue shots go for hits, as it did last night. But again, Cody Bellinger is going to use that porch, too. Another line drive down the right field line. He is starting to be a big part of the Yankee offense.
What do the numbers look like in the 11-game hitting streak? Hitting 340, 2 home runs, 5 runs batted in, slugging at 532. All right, so the Yankees got good pitching yesterday out of Carlos Rodon. They have Max Fried tomorrow night. Who's going today? Well, let's take a look at the Home Depot getting it done pitching matchup. Griffin Canning, his first year with the Mets, has pitched very, very well. Clark Schmidt, you see the ERA, not quite representative, David, of the way he's pitched the last 2 starts.
Yeah, he's starting to take the next step in terms of being a rotation member that can get deeper into the games. But one thing Clark Schmidt has always been able to do is spin a baseball among the best in terms of cutters, sweepers, and knuckle curves. Those things bite. They spin like a buzz top. So Clark Schmidt, certainly the next step is more innings, as that shows you right there.
All right, no decision. On May 6th, he went 6 innings. On May 12th, he got a victory, 6 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. When we talk about Bellinger, this guy's been unbelievable. Got big hits yesterday. Broken bat hits, drove in runs, made great plays in the field. Aaron Boone talks about his first baseman and what he's meant. That's coming up next, right here on Yes.
The Subway Series rolls on in the Bronx this afternoon as the Yankees and the Mets are set to clash in Game 2 of the 3-game set right here on Yes in just a few minutes. Hey, everyone, I'm Meredith Marakovitz. Paul Goldschmidt just continues to impress. Last night, he had 2 hits, 2 RBI, and a run scored. Not to mention, he made an unbelievable defensive play in that 5th inning. He has 20 multi-hit games now on this season. That is second in the majors to only Aaron Judge. After the game, Aaron Boone spoke about what an asset Goldschmidt has been to this Yankees squad.
First of all, just his unselfishness and the person he is. I mean, you know, on the days he's not playing, you'd think he's ready to roll, ready for any situation. He just prepares so well, you know, whether it's his defensive work, whether it's preparing for that night's pitcher and who he's facing. He's vocal. He's not afraid to have conversations and really communicate well. So his preparation has been outstanding. As I've said, like that game within the game, he plays it really well.
Paul Goldschmidt remains in there at first base. J.C. Escara is behind the plate. Just a day off for Austin Wells, and Ben Rice will serve as your DH. Plenty more to come here on the Yes Network. When we get back, Clark Schmidt gets the ball. First pitch coming your way after the break.
Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Tunnel to Towers. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. By Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. By Untuckit. Find the perfect fit today at Untuckit.com or more than 80 stores worldwide. And by Hyundai. Test drive a new Hyundai today only at your local Hyundai dealer. I guess they got really young pictures
go to the game. That's all I want to look at, the whole thing on the monitor.
You just want that on the screen.
Get rid of Gary Cohen. Just want to look at you all game.
Oh, boy.
I was with it through Denzel, but it lost me here.
I was just thinking, how ahead are we on these things? And then Michael K., you just blew us out of the water. Look at it.
I don't pick these pictures, Paul. Believe me, I don't like looking at myself. And they're just keeping it up. All right, wipe that off the screen. Let's see baseball.
They photoshopped it. You look like a million there, man.
Yeah, I've got a lot more hair there than I do now. Anyway, big crowd here at the Yankee Stadium. The Yankees take the field for Game 2 of the Subway Series. Believe me, the Yankees take the field, but you're looking at two ugly guys. There you go. Clark Schmidt will take the ball. He's going to begin his warm-ups as the Yankees will try to take at least
like
2 out of 3.
Waldo all day that's coming up to you.
Wow. That does it for you, doesn't it, Paul? Let's take a look at the Met lineup that Clark Schmidt is going to face. You've got Lindor leading off, then Soto and right, Alonso at first. Middle third of the order, Nimmo, Vientos, and McNeil. And the bottom third, Luis Torrens, Brett Beatty, Tyrone Taylor, and Griffin Canning is going to make his 4th career start against the Yankees. But we'll concentrate now on Clark Schmidt, the right-hander. We said this in the open, David. Last 2 starts he's pitched very, very well.
Yeah, and the Yankees really need him to be right in the middle of that rotation. I mean, obviously, you know Max Fried's good. You got Carlos Rodon that's pitching well, and you need Clark Schmidt to take the next step. And you see on the year, the 5 starts, this will be the 6th time. And yes, indeed, he's towing the slab in the Boogie Down Bronx here today. And a beautiful day game, nothing better. Yankee Stadium day game. The Nissan pitcher scouting report. He is cutter dominant. He leads with that pitch. 40% of the time he's throwing a cutter. His next most frequent usage is on the sweeper at 26%, a little over that. Breaking ball package has been really good for him. Whether it's the sweeper or the knuckle curve, opposing batters are batting 143 against that pitch when he finishes the at-bat with it. And the next step, as Meredith has talked about, just getting deeper in the game. 6 innings his last 2 starts. That's what he's looking for.
Let's take a look at the Yankee defense, brought to you by your Tri-State Chevy dealers. You've got Dominguez in left, Bellinger in center today, Judge in right. So lineup roulette has Trent Grisham starting on the bench. In the infield, it's Bibas, Volpe, LeMahieu, and Goldschmidt. Lascara behind the plate, day game after night game. The DH is Ben Rice, and on the mound is Clark Schmidt. So the Mets have lost 2 in a row, and they have not had a 3-game losing streak all year. And I bring that up because they're the only major league team this year that has not had a 3-game losing streak. The Yankees would like to make that happen. And Lindor is going to start it off. Mets are 28-17. The Yankees are 26-18. Yankees have a 5-game lead in the American League East. That's the largest lead in any division for any team, and the Mets are a game and a half ahead of the Phillies in the National League, despite having a better record than the Yanks. Crowd settling in. Big crowd yesterday, almost 48,000. Biggest crowd of the year. This one looks like it's going to be close. Lindor is ready. Schmidt is ready. And let's do it here in the Bronx. First pitch outside. We're underway. Popped up. Bibas stays with it, makes the play in fair territory. 1 down. Well, that's going to bring up Soto. Yesterday, Juan was 0 for 2 with 3 walks. And once again, this will be the soundtrack of his life here in the Bronx for the next 15 years as he gets booed lustily as he comes to the plate. And the pitch. And there's a strike. Made the final out of the game yesterday with 2 runners on. Mets down by 4. Strike 2. So last year, after 44 games, Soto was hitting .310, 9 homers, 34 RBI. ribbies with the Yanks this year. 252, 8 home runs, and 20 ribbies with the Mets.
Oh, you saw Soto throw those glasses away. I never understood how you could hit with sunglasses because it kind of messes your depth perception up.
0-2.
You got the glasses on. Yeah, I didn't like the way I saw that ball. Yeah, these aren't working.
Two and two.
One thing Soto has always been able to do, Coney, is even at 0-2, there's no panic. You know, he'll just have his at bat. All of a sudden, now you look back in the count, 2-2.
Swing and a miss. Got the fastball right by him. And the crowd looks in joy.
A little two-seamer ball, sinker. He only uses that about 10% of the time. Well, that's well executed, well thrown.
I've seen Juan Soto kind of in between pitches. Last night, late on some fastballs. These things you're not accustomed to seeing.
Pete Alonso takes a strike. Pete started off hot. I mean, people were talking MVP. He got off to such a great start, but last 9 games, 5 hits and 36 at-bats. That's 139. Ground ball, Volpe. Bobbles, regains, fires, got it. So Clark Schmidt works a 1-2-3 inning. In the bottom of the first, we'll throw it to Gary Cohen. Strong top of the first for Clark Schmidt. Now Griffin Canning will take his turn against this Yankee starting lineup. DH is Ben Rice leading off. Then it's Aaron Judge and Cody Bellinger. Middle third of the order, you've got Goldschmidt, Dominguez, and Volpe. And the bottom third, J.C. Escara catches, DJ LeMahieu at second base, and Yorbi Vivas is the third baseman, and he's going to bat ninth.
Face this right-hander. What a find he has been for the Mets. Griffin Canning has been outstanding so far this year. You see only 4 home runs given up, the 42 strikeouts in 42 innings. And let's tell you a little bit more in our Nissan pitcher scouting report. And yeah, he's slider heavy about 44% of the time. He's featuring that slider. He kind of leads with it. He's been a steady Eddie. He's given up 2 earned runs or less in 7 out of 8 of his starts. And third eye blind.
Oh.
That's the third time through the order. You know, he kind of, like most starting pitchers, the third time through, his numbers go up. For him, it's no different. A 333 batting average against.
Ben Rice will start it off. Swings at the first pitch and lofts it to center field. Taylor. 1 out. Take a look at the Mets defense, brought to you by your Tri-State Chevy dealers. You've seen Taylor in center, Nimmo's in left, Soto over in right. Infield, Beatty, Lindor, McNeil, and Alonso. That's third to first. Torrens behind the plate. Vientos the DH. So here's Aaron Judge hitting .414. Had his 22nd multi-hit game yesterday. Goldschmidt has 20 multi-hit games. And they're the first pair of Yankee teammates through 44 games that have had 20 or more multi-hit games.
Well, a couple fastballs at 96. I mean, wondering coming in this series, were they going to give Aaron Judge anything to hit? They've been pretty aggressive going after him.
Yeah, but the days of walking Barry Bonds with the bases loaded, that's kind of over now. Most teams, with the benefit of analytics, feel like the run expectancy is too high to pitch around guys.
Right field. Soto. It's time now for the keys to the game, brought to you by your local Kia dealers.
Well, you've hit a high water mark. Season high 8 games over 500 the Yankees are, and 2 more. Well, 2 more hits for Aaron Judge last night, up to .414 Don't go anywhere. It's just fun to watch. And riding the ship, the bullpen, much better lately. 1.39 ERA over the last 5 games.
Bellinger with an 11-game hitting streak, swings and misses. Has the average up to 242. He's had quite a climb because he had a slow start. Battled food poisoning, kind of a sore back issue as well. Seems to be more in sync at the plate. So he had the 3 hits and almost hit a home run in his final at bat. He drove Soto back to the wall in right field. Would have been a 3-run blast. The 0-2. James Jean behind the plate. He is really hitter friendly. Just his second big league season, though.
He'll learn.
That thing's pinned over there, Cody.
Game time weather presented by Bigelow, the official hot tea of the Yankees. 74 degrees. Chance of rain marginal. Humidity is so-so. The wind is swirling. Like a Mr. Softy ice cream cone. 3-2.
It's the most blue sky I've seen in a long time.
Dead solid perfect here.
Swing and a miss. Swings through the changeup. Strong inning for Canning. Retiring the Yankees in order, and we'll go to the second. Well, let's check out FanDuel's live same-game parlay. Is Dominguez going to get a hit? J.C. Escarra, how about a ribby? Clark Schmidt, 5 or more strikeouts. He got 1 in the first inning.
This could be a 3-bagger today, Michael. These all could happen.
Really?
Easily. Yeah.
Brandon Nimmo is going to lead off. He's the cleanup hitter for the Mets today. Nimmo has an 8-game hitting streak. 10 for 30 during the streak. Two.
Cody, you like pitching day games, eh? You're saying that it's nice to be out here on the day. You like
nothing better, and then being on center stage, right in the middle of Yankee Stadium, in a beautiful day game like this.
I like the nights after the day game, but I always like seeing the ball much better at night under the lights. Ever since Little League, where you never really got to play night games, it was always a cool thing to play under the lights, huh?
I didn't like that see the ball better thing.
Didn't work for you?
I didn't want you seeing the ball.
Hit sharply and grabbed there by Bibas. Kind of played beautifully. 1 away.
Well, these numbers and analytics really, if you break them down, don't lie. How many balls were hit hard and guys were just standing there? Bibas over almost to the shortstop hole, but it's exactly where the ball was hit.
There's so much more information on defensive positioning, without a doubt. And that's why all those players have cards. They know where to stand and move with each hitter, with each count, really.
Yeah, I remember times where, Tina would give me a sign behind his back, a changeup or a fastball, but it wasn't every pitch. But a changeup, obviously, a lefty, you would, go you would pull more and things like that. But, a step or two can really make a huge difference defensively.
We kind of saw the future. Michael's talked about this in the All-Star game a couple of years ago when Nestor Cortez and Trevino were talking to each other. And we could hear it on the Fox broadcast. It almost feels like the middle of the infielders have the pitch comm now. They know what's coming. You could see a time where you almost have everybody's mic'd and you could talk to each other.
Right.
I could step off the mound and talk to you in right field. Hey, you done practicing your swing? Can I
Cody,
throw the ball now?
next city, man. Leave me alone. Get 3 outs so I can go hit, would you?
Almost like NASCAR, right? Where you're talking to each other on the headsets.
Swing and a miss. Way far from a knuckle curve, as Vientos didn't come close.
Well, this is elite. When you talk about metrics, the under the hood look, let's see how good that knuckle curve is compared to everybody else. Well, it's top shelf. It's tightly wound. It's got 3,200 RPMs on it, which means revolutions per minute. That is as good or at or near the top in terms of shape and spin of anybody's knuckle curve in the game.
McNeil wraps one to right field, and it's foul against the screen.
You know, when you watch that knuckle curve, that's what I remember, you know, looking at curveball, and that's why I was so kind of confused last night with the slider from Rodon. A totally different kind of spin on the baseball.
Yes, the way he grips it, the way the seams are oriented, the type of break he's looking for. Clark Schmidt's always been able to really spin his breaking ball, whether it's a cutter, a sweeper, or a knuckle curve. That knuckle curve is really good.
Grounded to LeMahieu. And another 1-2 inning for Clark Schmidt. The Mets go down in order, and we'll go to the bottom of the second. Time for Pinstripe Pride, brought to you by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicles of the Yankees. And today's pitcher is from Sal. He was here at the stadium last night for Game 1 of the Subway Series, one of almost 48,000 people that came to the ballpark. Use the hashtag Toyota Pinstripe Pride and mention yes in pictures you post to social media to reflect your love for the Bronx Bombers. We might spotlight you in a future game.
And I was talking about coming to the ballpark yesterday and all the Mets jerseys, and there's still some today, but I thought there were far less today when I was coming into the ballpark. I wonder if it's because the Yankees won last night or whatever, but it just seemed like it was more Yankee heavy today.
Paul Goldschmidt was going to lead off here. He is going to lead off, hitting .349. .291 lifetime hitter against the Mets over 85 games. So you mentioned that, you know, Tino would give you some. I'm just curious. How did he give you a sign it's going to be a changeup? What was the sign?
It was
his hand behind his back?
A wiggle behind his back with his glove, and it was kind of moving me one way or the other, but it would just tell me that, you know, something slow was coming, either off speed or a changeup, and you could take a step towards the line against a lefty, and against a righty take a step towards the gap.
And the other team wouldn't notice that?
No, not really. It's amazing some of the things that go on the field that don't get noticed, but then every pitcher thinks that every guy on second base is picking up every pitch, right?
Exactly.
Not anymore.
If you do it too soon, maybe on the infield, like if a shortstop starts moving towards the hole against a right-handed batter too soon, a hitter might pick up and say, okay, something off speed's coming because he's playing me to pull. So, you know, the key is the last minute. Wait till the last minute before you adjust defensively.
Cooking up something special with Hexclad. Join the hybrid revolution at hexclad.com. We told you the .291 average against the Mets. 18 home runs, 56 ribbies, and that's in 85 games. That's about half a year, so that's a pretty good season against the Mets. 1-2. Lindor takes his time and gets Goldschmidt. There's Jason Dominguez. So Aaron Boone was asked before the game about, is he surprised with how Griffin Canning has been pitching, because the Yankees have faced him 3 times previously. And Boone was very honest, said no. He said, in fact, we made contact with him over the winter. We wanted to sign him. We could see the stuff that he's doing now. We actually, you know, figured that out. And he decided to end up going with the Mets, but the Yankees did have interest in him, so this does not surprise them.
A good pedigree out of UCLA, and he was a good college pitcher as well. Sometimes getting out of Anaheim and all the struggles out there can help you when you're on a team that's struggling. Get new life. I love his delivery. You know, when you talk about pitchers getting the ball out of their glove, getting your arm out and up and getting on top of the ball, he is really good at that. You watch how he separates when he gets the ball out of his glove. It's a little bit early. That gets his arm in a throwing position really soon.
And it shows you there are bargains out there. So last year, he's with the Angels, gets traded to the Braves for Jorge Soler. But then Atlanta, which is really good with this stuff, they non-tender him, made him a free agent. And there were teams that reached out. They could see something that obviously Atlanta and the Angels didn't. Check out Coors Light beating the pressure on Griffin Canning. So he is fourth in the National League this year in ERA. And Kodai Senga, his teammate, is first with a 1.02. Grounded to first, backing up Alonso. He'll flip to Canning, two-way.
So far, easy play or easy pickings for the pitching. I mean, good solid sequence, good solid pitches, and really haven't seen anything hit hard on either side.
Throwing strikes, aggressive. Sometimes it's as simple as that. You know, you hear that all the time. Get ahead in the count, 0-1. But it does. The pitcher can dictate the pace and get the hitters on the defensive, especially to start out a game.
One
of the problems in today's game, theoretically speaking, is that pitchers are taught to miss bats. You know, you got to miss bats. All your stuff's got to be top shelf. You got to snap it off. You got to go maximum effort. But a lot of times, early in the game, if you're just throwing strikes, those ground balls are going at infielders. So it's a great way to get easy outs early, and that's how you get deeper in the game. I think Max Fried has kind of mastered that style of pitching. When he needs to hump up or he needs to miss bats, he can do that. But early in the game, I can throw a sinker and get weak contact, and that can work and get me some easy outs and save me pitches.
Chop slowly. Barehanded there by Beatty, and he makes a nice play to get Volpe for the final out. Really strong play by Brett Beatty at third base. Probably the only way he could do was to barehand it and to make the strong throw to Alonso. We'll go to the third. On this Armed Forces Day, baseball salutes all active duty veterans and their families for your service to our country. Go to MLBtogether.com to learn more about how you can help to serve those who serve us. So the bases say it's Armed Forces Weekend. Both teams wearing camouflage caps with American flags on the side to honor the great men and women of the armed forces. Luis Torrens will lead off. Torrens started the season while Alvarez was on the IL nursing a broken hamate bone, and he did a great job behind the plate. Mets got him from the Yankees last year, May 31st. Fly ball right field. Judge makes the play, one down.
Yankee Stadium crowd holding their breath on a fly ball to right field, right? Everybody goes silent.
Yeah. It's funny, everybody goes silent unless it's Judge or somebody on the Yankees, and then they stand up immediately.
Yes. So here's Brett Beatty. Got a great spring training that allowed him to make the Met team. Then he got off to a bad start, hit .204 in 19 games, sent to the minors on April 24th. But he came back on May 5th. He's hitting .300 with 4 homers and 7 ribbies in 8 games since returning. Now, he actually benefited quite a bit from the Mets signing Juan Soto, because Beatty used to be number 22. And as Soto's big 15-year contract, he put in his contract that he had to have 22. Had to. But still, he did the right thing and actually gave Beatty something for the number. He gave him a brand new Chevy Tahoe with a message on the back windshield that said, "Thanks for number 22.
Wow. Look at that. Cody, you changed numbers a few times, huh?
Yeah, I did. I kept wearing out my welcome, so.
No, you did. You changed your number for Hernandez.
I did. I wore number 17 after Keith Hernandez left with the Mets.
Seldom do you see pitchers, admire everyday players that much. He must have really had an effect on you.
Yeah, Keith is that kind of guy. He has that kind of impact on people. Good cut fastball there up and in from Schmidt to get Beatty.
That's David's old number with the Yanks. It's so funny, we were over in the other booth and David and I were talking to Keith, and Keith is explaining something to me. He goes, these pitchers, they don't think, they're not smart. And then he turns to the corner and goes, sorry, David. Line drive caught by LeMahieu. 9 up, 9 down. With Clark Schmidt over 3, we'll go to the bottom of the 3rd. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. By Optimum Fiber. Get Optimum, the fastest fiber internet. Don't take slow for an answer. And by the New York Lottery. Get out there and play. That's where you used to play, guys. That's where you used to play.
I was
the old stadium was.
Thinking from the old days when you're playing, you'd look at that and think, see, that'd be so much fun to just go out. It wouldn't be fun anymore, Coney. I don't even think I'd get a hit in that game.
I went over there and walked around. Where the pitcher's mound is, it's just behind shortstop of where the current, Little League field is.
There's J.C. Escara as we start at the bottom of the 3rd. So many kids that played baseball in the city, they used to play on this spot. This is where the fields for the kids were. And now we moved across the street, and where the pros used to play, that's where they play now. And those kids that are playing are dreaming to play here.
Well, I tell you what, I can relate to that. Coney, I'm sure you can too. Just growing up, just dreaming about being able to play in the major leagues, huh?
Chop slowly to second. McNeil gets a scar.
Especially playing in a Little League field right next to the Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
You don't have to look too far to dream.
And they could probably hear the cheers across the street.
I'm sure. Or the boos, depending if Soto's at bat.
True. All dirt infield. Here's DJ LeMahieu. DJ's return from that long IL stint came at the perfect time, especially with the unfortunate injury to Oswaldo Cabrera. DJ LeMahieu, there's spots for him now to play. He's going to get time.
He's got the new look now. Remember, he used to have the high socks. Got the pants down now.
Fly ball right field, going back Soto. Turning, looking, see ya! Into the short porch. 1-0 Yankees on the DJ home run.
Well, you said a welcome for DJ LeMahieu to get back in the lineup. Well, that's a welcome sight, too. And I tell you what, DJ LeMahieu does not show a lot of emotion. Going around first base, he showed emotion on the first home run of the year. I mean, what a thing to get back. Second game back in the lineup. Home run to right field.
Perseverance rewarded right there.
Been a long time since he hit one out. July 31st of last year, that was at Citizens Bank in Philly. Line drive, and Bibas retired by Lindor. I noticed the same thing as you, Paul. I've never seen him that demonstrative rounding first base.
Well, a little four-seam fastball kind of stood right there, but that DJ LeMahieu, able to get the bat to the ball and just get enough. But you watch him rounding first base, you never see DJ LeMahieu, or you haven't in the past. Yeah, he wants to get things going. Good to be back.
He's been hurt so much, and I always remember something that Mattingly told me. When you're hurt, you just feel like there's no value, that you're not even part of the team. So a lot of that came out rounding first.
And Guys, along that same point, when I spoke to DJ LeMahieu in Seattle, he was incredibly honest. I asked him what his expectations are for him when he gets up here, and he just looked at me and said, we'll see. We'll see how it all works out. I think there's a little bit of doubt creeping into his mind because of some of those nagging injuries over the last several years. He felt good when he was in the minors rehabbing, but you just never know how it's going to translate to this level.
0-2 on Ben Rice. Grounded and through for a base hit for Rice.
As you watch Ben Rice hit this year, I mean, he's just so much more stable, a little bit open stance, able to get the bat head out there. He's hitting the ball hard, finding holes. He's shown power, 9 home runs so far.
110 miles an hour. Gets through it pretty quick, right? Even on the ground. He's hitting the ball as hard as anybody this year. Certainly top 5, top 10 at a minimum.
Pitch outside to Judge. Judge with a fly ball to right in the first inning. So the Yankees have a 1-0 lead here. The home run by LeMahieu, the first base runner for either team.
He really challenged Aaron Judge first time up with fastballs. Let him off with a slider here. Yeah, that's just second time through the lineup. You know, I'll get you out with that fastball. Now I'll start you off with a slider, then go to a changeup.
That one clipped the outside corner.
Always strange at bats, Coney. You've seen 3 pitches and all 3 of them different. You've seen a breaking ball, a changeup, and a fastball, and now your head's kind of spinning. Where are we going from here?
He's much more unpredictable this year, and that's sort of the question you always ask. You know, okay, what's he doing differently? What did the Mets do with this guy to switch him up? What's his pitch usage? And really, he's much more unpredictable. Less four-seam fastballs, more cutters, more sinkers. Truly sort of a mix master now of 6 different pitches at a minimum. A lot more sliders.
Swing and a miss. Judge down on strikes. But the Yankees put a run on the board. He's fought back from injury after injury. Finally, back in the big leagues. He goes to right field, and he tells the Mets, you got porch. Cadillac scoreboard. Yankees lead 1-0. The home run by LeMahieu would only have been a home run in 4 ballparks. This one, San Diego, Houston, and George M. Steinbrenner Field, which is the exact dimensions of this ballpark. So 4 out of the 30, but he hit it in 1 of the 4, and the Yankees are up 1-0. Top of the Met order again, Schmidt. 1-0 on Lindor.
Still remember that big home run DJ LeMahieu hit in the playoffs in Houston. Michael and I were down there in the tunnel. We missed it because we thought the game was over, and DJ tied it up with a clutch opposite field homer.
Yeah, same spot down in right center.
Yeah, we were about to go on the field, then we ran back when he hit the home run, and then they ended up losing. We had to run back to the field.
Who was winning that race, Michael, between you and Coney?
He had the bad hip then.
Coney didn't even have a hip.
Yeah. I'm just slow as a slop, so it was a tight race. Juan Soto on deck. It'll be 1, 2, and 3 in the Mets order against Schmidt. And that's the first base runner for the Mets. So it was all setting up. On this date back in 1998, Wells pitched the perfect game. So no perfect game for Schmidt today. And not a perfect day for Soto as he continues to get booed every time he comes to the plate. Struck out in the first. Pitch outside. And there's a base hit to right field. So first 2 runners on for the Mets here in the 4th. A single for Soto, the first hit for the Mets.
This is what you're used to seeing, and that ball's inside, and how quick he is to get to it. The barrel's straight to the ball. There's no loop whatsoever. That's why he's always been able to get to that ball inside. Now Clark Schmidt, after the walk on a base hit, you got to figure out how to keep one on the ground, try to get a double play here.
Before yesterday's game, Aaron Boone went over to the Mets side and presented Soto with the American League Championship ring that the Yankees gave out to their team at the homecoming dinner a couple of weeks ago. Soto was very appreciative and happy to receive it. Here's Pete Alonso. 0-1.
Yeah, there's no wasted movement here. Hands right to the ball, easily getting to an inside fastball.
And here's Aaron giving him the 2024 American League Championship ring.
Look at that. He took it over in a Yankee gift bag, huh? That's what I bring into the ballpark every day, Michael, full of food.
Line drive, left field. Dominguez going to play it on a hop. Knocks the ball down, but Lindor's going to score. The throw comes into Volpe. It's an RBI single for Alonso. We're tied at 1.
Well, each of these balls, it depends right off the bat what route you take. And then this ball's hit hard. Cutter right there. But, you know, if Dominguez takes a route straight to the ball, he might have a shot, but he went back on it just enough where, you play it into just knocking it down. A sure single instead of going for it. Give him a double or triple, possibly, if you don't get to it.
37th ribby for Alonso. Meeting at the mound to settle down Schmidt, who was coasting through the first 3. Then a 4-pitch walk to Lindor. Soto a single to right. Alonso a single to left. And it's 1-1. Still nobody out for the Mets.
Yeah, to your point, Paul, those line drives are tough. First and second, nobody out. That play in left field by Dominguez, according to Baseball Savant, had a 65% catch probability. That's not etched in stone, but this certainly gives you a baseline to kind of compare.
If your first step is horizontal towards where the ball is going to hit, you'll catch that ball. If your first step is, towards the wall, then you've lost a step to get to the baseball and played it into a single.
When that first step is back, Paul, is that an indication of tentative nature that you don't want the ball to get by you?
I can't, and it's just reps too, just over and over of seeing the ball off the bat and judging where it's going to be. And if you look at some of the really good outfielders, Judge, Bellinger, Grisham, their routes to the baseball are really, really good right off the bat.
With the Hawkeye system and the cameras everywhere, we can track all the movement on the field. You can track the jumps. You can compare, who gets the best jump. What was the probability of that catch? How much airtime it had? I mean, there's a lot of variables that are factored in that we now have information on.
Nimmo chops one foul.
The old who was the best center fielder back in the Golden area? Willie, Mickey, and the Duke.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just the eye test back then, right? And then who was more popular? And now we know. We can tell who the best center fielder is.
Coming up to the minor leagues, Coney, how many times did we hear that song? That's when it was at the height of
Willie, Mickey, and the Duke.
Terry Cashman. No relation. Strike three. Nimmo down looking.
Well, that's what you needed. You needed a big out. It's try to put a damper on this inning, and things were going well. This ball's up. He's had everything down. It looks like a pretty good frame job from Mascara.
Let me tell you something. Mascara's nice back there. Just watching him, he really receives well. He's done a nice job. The Yankees overall, their catchers. Not only do they have ex-Yankee catchers everywhere in the league, including Torrens on the Mets side, but their current catchers are doing very well at framing.
Corner goes. An easy stolen base for Soto. They didn't even pay attention. Same thing as yesterday. The same thing happened, but from first to second. This one from second to third.
I mean, Soto knows he's played with a lot of people, and he just guessed and took off. And, you know, he's been, you're right, Michael. This is twice in this series. And these are just statements, you know, I'm going to try to beat you any way I can.
Yeah, one look is not enough. You got to vary your looks on the mound.
Left field. Dominguez into the corner, makes the catch. Tagging and scoring is Soto. And tagging and going to second is Alonso. A sac fly for Vientos. And the Mets lead 2-1. So that stolen base looms large.
Yeah, it does. It just cost the Yankees a run, but it almost gave up 3 here. This ball was close to getting out.
Not an easy play on a high sky and right in the corner there. Yeah, you want to play outfield at Yankee Stadium? That's what you're looking at right there.
Yeah, left field in this stadium and the old stadium are always the sun field. And as it gets later in the year, it gets worse.
One and one. So a walk to Lindor, single to Soto, an RBI single to Alonso. Nimmo strikes out looking, a stolen base up third base by Soto, and then Vientos with a long fly ball sac fly to give the Mets the lead. And you can see the home plate umpire, James John, is telling Schmidt, you must engage with the batter, so he's going to call a ball on him on that. So the count 2-1. Three and one on McNeil.
You got Torrens on deck, 247 hitter with 1 home run, kind of a backup catcher, so you don't really want to have to give in here.
Ball 4 to McNeil. And that brings up Torrens. And that brings out Matt Blake. You know, watching Soto bat last year and watching in this inning, I always got the sense that he's thinking at bats ahead. So I want to ask you both this from both sides of the plate. Paul, did you ever swing and miss at a pitch to set a pitcher up for later in the game?
No, but the funny thing is, every once in a while, I would get a pitch inside that I didn't have a great swing at, and I would, like, yell at myself intentionally thinking the catcher would hear it, thinking I want that pitch when I didn't want it at all. So that's the game I would play. I never really missed a pitch on purpose.
And did you set up a hitter for future at-bats?
I did not set up a hitter, but I got set up by Manny Ramirez one time, who swung badly at a few sliders early in the game, and then later in the game was just sitting slider the whole time and got one and hit it 9 miles off of me. So he almost intentionally looked bad, you know. And I talked to him later about it. He said, yeah, he smiled, you know, and kind of winked at me.
He always sat breaking ball with 2 strikes. You know, he was such a great hitter that most right-handed pitchers would try to get him out with breaking ball, but worked against you because he was looking for it. And to be able to look for that and still foul off the fastball is the key. Most people can't do that.
Pick off at second. And Alonso just gets back.
Well, he was trying to get a secondary lead, but he did not get on his right foot heading to third. He was able to get back easily. Now the slide I can't say so much about.
A little belly flop.
Legs in the air, everything.
Polar bear.
First and second, 2 outs, 2 runs in, 2-1 Mets. Strike.
Amazing early in the game when he was ahead in the count, Coney, how many swings on that pitch you saw off the plate. But now pitching behind, hitters don't go for it. It's just amazing to me.
Yeah, you cruise in the first 3, run into trouble here. It's a big spot. You know, those 2-out RBIs are backbreakers when you're on the mound for a pitcher, and such an uplifting thing for the hitter too. On the other side, you come through in the clutch with 2 outs, runner in scoring position. For Clark Schmidt to keep it 2-1 here is a big deal.
And there's ball 4. That'll load the bases.
And he'd gone away. He really had him set up. If he could have thrown that 2-seamer in, it just missed on the inside corner.
Yeah, he had it. If he threads the needle, he had him.
So perfect through 3, far from perfect here in the 4th. 2 runs in, Mets threatening for more. And here's Brett Beatty. Fly ball right field. Judge turns the wrong way, recalibrates, and makes the play for the final out. But the Mets take the lead. 2 runs. 2 hits, and the bases are left low. The Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Delta, the official airline of the New York Yankees. Delta, keep climbing. The Mets lead this one 2-1 on the Cadillac scoreboard. Each team with 2 hits. And Cody Bellinger walks to the plate with us to dig into the left-handed batter's box. Now let's check out the Farsinga hitters scouting report on Bellinger.
Well, less movement. We talked about it last night. His mechanics, where he was kind of lunging early in the year, far less movement now, staying back on the ball. 11 and counting. He's got 3 more hits last night, 11-game hit streak. So Cody Bellinger's really turning his year around offensively.
1-0 on Bellinger, who struck out in the first inning.
Last one there was, where is he today? He was in center field today. You know, you cannot take for granted how good Cody Bellinger is defensively. Left field, center field, first base. Really makes a big difference for Aaron Boone to be able to put him and plug him in and be comfortable with him defensively.
Yeah, he's an athlete.
So 3-0 on Bellinger to start off the bottom of the fourth. See if they green light him. They do. Fouled it back to the screen.
Similar skill set in terms of athleticism and defensive capability as his father. You know, Clay could play all over the field.
Second at bat. Second 3-2 count for Bellinger.
I'm not sure if his father turned him around and made him bat left-handed, but if he did, way to go, Pops.
Yeah. Bell had that locker with about 18 gloves in it, just in case, you know, he needed to play somewhere else.
Tie his right arm behind his back. You're going to be a lefty.
Bellinger, Goldschmidt, and Dominguez here in the fourth. High fly ball right field. One down. So here's Goldschmidt, grounded out to Lindor to lead off the second. Now batting with one out here in the fourth. One and oh. There's a strike. So Canning signed a one-year, $4.25 million deal with the Mets. That was in December. And they've had some injuries in their starting rotation, so he has really stepped up big for them. Montas out. Minaya out. Those two are counted on to be upper rotation guys. Clay Holmes has pitched great for them. They saw a starter in him after he'd been a reliever for many, many years. Signed into a 3-year, $39 million deal. Now, Meredith, I know that you spoke to Clay Holmes for a bit today.
To Clay, and he told me that shortly after the World Series, he spoke with his agent that teams had been approaching him thinking about maybe using him as a starter and how he felt about that. It took him a little while to really digest it, and then he thought, hey, this is something that I think I can do and something that I want to do. He developed the sweeper a little bit last year and thought there was possibly more to his arsenal that he could develop along the way. David, as you know, he's been throwing that kick change a lot that he's had a lot of success with, and he said the early season success really kind of validated that decision. Now, David, when we spoke prior to me talking to Clay, you wanted to know if he's having more fun as a starter or as a reliever, and he said you cannot duplicate the feeling of running in from the bullpen in the 9th inning, that adrenaline you feel knowing you have 3 outs to go. But he really is enjoying life as a starter, the planning aspect of it, setting up hitters as the game goes on. And Paul, you'll like this, his golf game is getting a little better because of
yeah,
the
the
extra
starters.
time,
Yeah, they get that 4 days off in between.
David, there has to be few jobs that are as fun as a starting pitcher after a win. You have 4 days of joy.
But it really is. I mean, when you think about it, I get to, it's 162 games. I get to play in about 30 of them. Back in the day, maybe a little more, 35 starts for a starting pitcher. You stay healthy through the whole year. It's a great job, but it's part of what makes you flaky, too. Watch all those games.
You get too much time on your hands.
Too much time on your hands. And if you have a bad game, you got to wait for a whole week.
And guys, so far so good with Clay. They're obviously not going to see him this series, but I asked him, how do you expect to manage this workload as the season goes on? And he said, that's for other people to worry about right now. Right now, I'm recovering well. My body feels good. I'm taking it start by start and not thinking of that aspect of it. But David, at some point in time, you have to think that the Mets are going to have to consider that.
There's so much more that goes into it than just innings.
There's a base hit for Dominguez.
Dominguez lately has been hitting the ball much better. He's in much more of the field, had the big home run games on the road. But again, I just think that confidence-wise, he's starting to see and feel much better at the plate.
Oh, from the left side.
Yeah,
he's tough.
And all of a sudden, you'd love, I would love to see the Yankees start to let some of these guys run too. But, this is a tough guy. Torrens almost 50% in the last few years of throwing out runners. So he's as good as it gets behind the plate.
1-0 to Volpe. Volpe grounded out in the third. A really nice play by Beatty barehander on a slow roller to get Volpe to end the second. The Mets saw something in Canning, and one thing they told him when he came over at spring training, get rid of the fastball. It doesn't work for you. It's not a good fastball. But then with all the high-speed cameras, they saw why it wasn't a good fastball, and they've kind of changed his grip, and where the fingers are coming off the ball, they changed it to where the horseshoe is, and the fastball is a little bit more of a weapon than it was at the beginning of the year. Another slow roller, left side. Beatty Fields fires, got him. And that'll do it. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. 4 in the books here in the stadium. 2-1 Mets. Well, an iconic team needs an iconic smartphone. Introducing the new Motorola Razr Ultra with the most intelligent and interactive display powered by Moto AI. Get yours now at Motorola.com. Audi scoreboard 2-1 Mets as we go to the 5th inning. Shaky 4th inning for Schmidt. Mets scored 2 and left the bases loaded. It'll be 9-1-2 in the Mets order. Here's Taylor. He takes a strike from Schmidt.
Think John Sterling still has his old flip phone?
Yes, I don't think he's upgraded to the iPhone.
Upgraded at all.
I remember when I texted him after he retired, he called me like 2 days later. I said, hello, and he goes, who is it? And I'm like, oh, he didn't have people stored.
No.
He had no clue who was texting.
Flipped it open. He just saw a number.
Remember, I was talking to him. I said, well, John, I'll send you a picture. And he said, well, I'll give you my address. I said, no. I'm sending you a physical picture. Well, I can't receive pictures. I have a flip phone. Okay, John, no picture. The 1-2. Strike 3. Taylor down looking. Check out Papa John's key ingredients. Clark Schmidt this season, 3 runs or fewer in 4 of his 5 starts.
When you come off the inning, you've just given up a couple runs and you kind of lost it for a while. In between innings, can you kind of reboot, or you're just looking to get out and get going again?
You can get all the information you want. It depends on your personality, right? You can certainly you can go right to the metrics and look under the hood if you're that style of pitcher. Right? Not sure if Clark Schmidt wants that much information, but what it does is now you got to get the top of the order again here. Lindor, he faced last inning and walked him.
Grabbed there by Goldschmidt. He'll beat Lindor to the bag. 2 down.
Yeah, the reason I was asking, I have a bad first at bat, and then I can kind of visualize it on the bench before I get up again. Okay, I dropped my hands. I opened up. So I was wondering, like pitching, I was getting around the ball. Can I fix this or something of that sort?
Yeah, possibly. It's never good to start out an inning and walk the leadoff hitter.
No.
That's what happened the last inning. So.
So here's Juan Soto. 1 for 2. He was 0 for 2 last night with 3 walks.
I think Clark Schmidt will stay away from that fastball inside. Soto showed that he could get to it very easily. And, if you've seen it once and you can get to it, then you're not scared as a hitter. And believe me, if he elevates one, you know what happens here in Yankee Stadium.
On Soto. The story of Soto obviously has been well documented. Traded from the Padres to the Yankees, had a terrific season, great season last year, helped the Yankees get to the World Series, became a free agent, and several teams bid on him. Ended up signing a 15-year deal with the Mets worth upwards of $765 million with many incentives and extras. So he goes cross town, which was a rare occurrence. And there's a guy who okayed that expenditure, the owner of the Mets, Steve Cohen. Two and 2 on Soto. He struck out in the first inning. Just missed. Schmidt took a step toward the Yankee dugout. Thought that was strike 3.
Well, this is close, Coney. And, if you're pitching to a Juan Soto, this is a pitch you want, especially when you've set it up to go backdoor. Juan Soto says nope.
It is Juan Soto batting.
Yeah, that's right.
Believe me, that matters.
And then a walk to Soto. So, David, he looks at Schmidt and said, no, that wasn't a strike. Would that bother you if you were a pitcher?
Yeah, actually, I'd want to know.
Right.
But, yeah.
You think he's telling you the truth?
Well.
His point of view.
You just kind of, that comes with the game with Juan, right?
It's strange because one of the things about enjoying watching him hit last year was the whole Soto shuffle. The way he's not doing that this year. People are wondering why he's not. Maybe it's still a period of adapting to being on a new team.
It was like me when I pitch, when I start dropping down, throwing Laredo sliders, you're feeling good about yourself. You're kind of letting it go, and maybe that's part of it with him. He's not feeling it yet.
1-1 on Alonso.
Do the Soto shuffle when you're hitting 350, maybe not 250.
Yeah. Things are a little more fun when things are going well on the field.
One and 2 on Alonso. Alonso RBI single in the 4th inning, 1 for 2.
There's been so many studies about the strike zones. You see Tim Hill, the lefty, getting up about the strike zone, influences on the strike zone, right? Home crowd matters. The batter matters. The count matters. There's a lot of variables that go into the influence on an umpire, the human influence on what's a strike and what's a ball, what's the strike zone.
Now I see the bullpen up, as David noted. Tim Hill. Schmidt's hit 67 pitches, so he's not even close to being at the limit, but he is 3rd time through the order, which is something they watch very, very closely. They almost take it batter to batter. Pitch count's in pretty good shape. Line to left field, coming on Dominguez. He makes the play, and that will do it. No runs, no hits, no errors, one left. We're halfway through. Well, what a difference a year makes. This was 2024, where right field here at Yankee Stadium was Juan Soto's Field of Dreams. Not many good dreams these last 2 days out in right field. Nasty signs, turning back on him. Fans chanting. Field of Dreams to a Field of Nightmare. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. 2-1. Mets over the Yanks. J.C. Escarra leads off against Canning, and there's a strike. And it goes around. Todd Titzner, the crew chief, said Escarra did not hold up. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Second game of this 3-game set. After yesterday's win, the Yankees have season-high 8 games over 500. They've picked up 7 wins in their last 9 games. And because other than the Yankees, everybody in the AL East is struggling. They have the biggest lead of any division leader in baseball. They have a 5-game lead. And today we find out that the Orioles have fired their manager, Brandon Hyde, as the Orioles sit in last place in the American League East. Every team in the East is not over 500 except for the Yankees.
Did not have that on my bingo card going into this year. Or 4 teams in the Central Division over 500 in the American League.
Yeah, the Twins, they won 12 in a row now?
Wow. And they're still not in first place. It's still the Tigers. The Tigers have the best record in baseball.
Boy, the Tigers have really, the past couple of years, just out of nowhere, it became a contender.
Mid-season last year, it clicked in after the trade deadline, actually. And you knew that they had essentially given up because they traded Flaherty. So Pete Crow Armstrong, speaking of the Central, National League Central, last 28 games, former Met farm prospect, really having a time of it. Brandon Hyde, 15 and 28, 4th worst in the major leagues. He's fired, and Jacob deGrom is dealing. He is back to being healthy and one of the best pitchers in the game. And we should see him when the Rangers come into town next week.
He can still paint. He's all over that outside corner with that 4-seamer slider combo.
Here's the payoff. And Escarra works a walk. Lead-off walk here in the 5th inning for the Yankee catcher. Well, the New York Yankee Foundation's 50-50 raffle is now open during every home game at Yankee Stadium. One lucky fan wins half the pot, and the other half is donated to the New York Yankees Foundation. Buy your tickets now at Yankees.com/5050.
And those at-bats even irritated me in right field, Coney. 0-2 to 3-2 to a breaking ball, ball 4. And that just frustrates you. You get a guy, you talked about, talking to Hernandez about pitching. I think pitchers overthink things, and I know hitters overthink things, and you just figure you're going to trick somebody, and all of a sudden you're back to the count. Then you throw a 3-2 breaking ball to lead off a leadoff walk.
So you think it's better as a hitter to just be dumb?
Well, Jerry Manuel said to be a great hitter, you got to be dumb, and that's why Jim Thome can hit. I looked at it, and Thome looked at me and just said, "Did you just say that?" I said, "Yeah, I think he did."
See ball, hit ball.
Yeah, listen.
All joking aside, a lot of the old school scouts from 50 years ago had that theory about them. The best ball players are the ones that don't think too much. They just go get it, chase it down and catch it, throw it, see it and hit it.
2-0 on LeMahieu. There's a strike. Just hit the outside corner. Take a look at DJ's home run on StatCast 3D by Google Cloud. 98.4 miles off the bat. Traveled 333 feet. Just a home run in 4 ballparks in the big leagues. Line drive. It's a base hit. Almost hit the second base umpire, Nestor Seja. Got out of the way, so a single for LeMahieu. He's 2 for 2 on the score. Stops at second.
Well, you can just kind of hold back and look and just marvel that if DJ LeMahieu could come back and be himself, and you've seen a couple great at-bats, a home run to right field, and now a line drive right up the middle. Boy, what a shot in the arm that's going to be for the Yankees. And then that's the swing that you're used to seeing, that level swing all the way through the strike zone.
Yeah, he almost kneecapped the second base umpire there.
So here is Yorbi Bibas. Mets are expecting a bunt by Bibas. They're in at the corners. Not bunting and taking a strike.
I think at some point, and we talked earlier about Juan Soto, you know, it was just no wasted movement. You know, the point of the barrel was right to the baseball. But if you see this last movement of Bibas right before he swings, he brings his hands up and even farther away, which is going to make that swing a little bit longer. And Coney, if you're pitching, you're going to be throwing that high inside fastball all day. Huh?
He's going to get tested in. He did last night, got jammed a couple of times. So yes, I think early on you want to find out about him. You're going to find out if he can handle the ball in.
See your hands there and watch where they go. They go back even farther. And that pitch right there, you're going to have a lot of trouble getting to.
Is this his load that you're talking about?
Yeah, it just goes back farther and it kind of wraps, which makes that bat, you know, it's just a longer swing, which obviously takes a little bit more time.
One and two.
Yeah, the scouting report on him in the minor leagues was that he was a high contact guy. Really good walk to strikeout ratio, command of the strike zone. But I'm with you on that. I'm going to, you know, if I'm pitching, I'm going to find out first off on a young hitter, can he handle in?
Loop the other way. Just over the screen into the seats. With the injury to Cabrera, Bibas and Peraza going to see more time, get their opportunity now. One, two, swing and a miss. Bibas down on strikes. And that'll bring up Ben Rice. And the leader is brought to you by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. He's hit the ball harder this year, and that means something. 57.3% hard hit rate, both top 7 in the American League. Now, you don't, you know, sign up for every single metric, but you do believe the value of exit velocity.
Oh, I've seen it. I mean, when Stanton was in the lineup and when you see Aaron Judge and now you're seeing Ben Rice, the harder you hit the baseball, the less time, obviously, infielders, outfielders, less time is better because they just don't have time to react.
It's kind of simple boilerplate stuff, right? The pitcher's trying to keep the hitter by disrupting his timing from hitting the ball hard. You're trying to produce weak contact. Conversely, the hitter's trying to swing fast, hit the ball hard, hit the ball harder. Better chance, higher probability of doing damage.
Left field. Nimmo reaches up to make the play. Runners retreat.
Every once in a while, you do everything perfect. You know, you see that ball, you square it up, you hit it hard, and it just goes right at the left field. But what Ben Rice has done is he's opened his stance, which allows him to see the ball a little bit easier, a little bit longer to get to the inside pitch and still be able to drive the ball the other way.
Yeah, he's made a great adjustment from last year to this year, not only body-wise, but you know, certainly stylistically wise, as you just said.
So Jeremy Heffner, the pitching coach, comes out and talks with his infield. And Judge is coming up. And he has handled Judge in 2 at-bats, fly ball right and a strikeout. Now, if you're Judge, Paul, you've seen the way they've pitched him. What's he thinking right now? How are they going to go after him?
Well, first time was all hard stuff. Last time was all soft stuff. And so he's kind of in the middle where you know, I've seen everything now, which is the key. That you know, I've seen the fastball, I've seen the changeup, I've seen his breaking ball. So you should see a good at bat from Aaron Judge here, much better than the first two.
And David mentioned this in the pregame scouting report. He does struggle, as most pitchers do. Third time through the order. This is the third time that he's going to face Judge. So first and second, 2 outs. That's why Hefner comes out, walk him through this at bat. And he starts him with the slider.
That's his bread and butter right there.
Yeah,
the slider.
Look at his pitches. I mean, that's, I don't care who's into that. That's just a perfect thrown pitch.
Shows him a fastball up and in.
It's kind of the fastball for show and the slider for dough with Canning.
Judge this year hitting .448 when he sees the starting pitcher for the third time. Right on the hand, slow ground ball to Beatty. Fields fires, got him. So the Yankees at first and second, nobody out, and Canning works out of a jam. We go to the 6th.
Bob Lorenz with your Audi update. What a night for Wilmer Flores of the Giants last night against the A's. Bottom of the 3rd, that's a grand slam. Bottom of the 6th, how about a 3-run home run? And then bottom of the 8th, a solo shot. So first career 3-homer game, 8 runs batted in, gives him 41 for the season, tied with Aaron Judge for best in the majors, guys.
Flyers just a 2-run home run away from a home run cycle. Let's take a look at the bullpen budget brought to you by Citizens. Make sense of your money with Citizens. Yankees used a lot of their high leverage guys yesterday. Because Weaver's pitched 3 out of 4 games, in all likelihood not available today, everybody else is. Monitor Einstein as we go to the 6th. It's 2-1 Mets. Nimmo leads off against Schmidt. Foul back to the screen, 0-1. Mark Leiter Jr., he did pitch yesterday, and looks like he's ready. Now, speaking of the bullpen, on this day in 1996, Mariano Rivera picked up his first career save. A game against the Angels. Wetland wasn't available that day, so Mo closed it out. The first save to a trip to Cooperstown. And in that game, I don't know if you remember it, Paul, he had a 3-run home run off of Jim Abbott.
Off Jimmy Babbitt. I remember Jim Abbott. Mariano had a lot more saves for Andy Pettit down the road, huh?
One of the best feelings I ever had was in the World Series in Game 6 when Mariano Rivera came in that game. It was lights out. We just were so confident. That's when he was setting up Wetland. Yeah. So you knew you had him for 2 innings. Yeah. Like, can we leave him in for 3?
I think that
take him out.
One of the genius things that Joe Torre did was using Mariano. He would kind of save him throughout September, never throw him in more than an inning. But you get into the playoffs in the World Series, he would use him the 8th and the 9th, and before that, you know, 6th, 7th, and 8th. I mean, he was just such a weapon.
He came in that night, that game, throwing rockets. The Braves had no chance.
There's one guy that, I mean, I went out to right field. I might as well put my glove down. With that cutter, the ball wasn't coming my way. Edgar Martinez was really the only guy who could fight that off to come to right field. But lefties, he had no chance.
3-2 on Nimmo. And he walked him. Boone looks like he wants to take that step up the dugout. Leiter is ready.
Those leadoff walks that just really kind of sting you if you're a pitching coach or a manager.
Really just 75 pitches for Schmidt.
and then only one stolen base on the year. So, you know, if you're Schmidt, you really got to bear down and let him distract you and get an out here at home plate.
Fly ball, right side. Judge giving a look toward the line, and he runs into the wall and can't make the play. You've lived that trip, Paul. That's not fun.
Yeah, you run out of room so quick. I mean, you're looking at the ball thinking you got a chance, and then you hit that hard dirt, and you know what's coming, and that's that padding. But behind that padding is a cement wall that does not give.
Plus, it's a slope of that wall that angles upward, so you're not sure, well, you know, what part of the wall you're going to get.
Likes to put you right in the ribs, usually.
Yeah. That was about rib cage high right there.
Neck high on most people. On Judge, right in the ribs.
Can they turn two? There's one. And there's two. 5-4-3.
Well, I just am so impressed. You know, at the third baseman, you've seen Peraza last night, Vivas today. I mean, this was an immediate, I'm going to stay back on this ball to get a good hop to turn two. You can run in and run yourself into a bad hop. I mean, these are just good plays and a huge double play for Clark Schmidt.
Yeah, I was curious as to why they played Vivas at third and DJ LeMahieu at second. And when DJ came back, but kind of saw right there, it kind of looked good.
Here's Jeff McNeil. 0-1.
I think you're going to mix and match to this point. You know, maybe the Yankees will do something at third base. Who knows? But, you know, defense is not one thing that you're worrying about, because the guys you're putting out there, and Cabrera before the injury was the same way, just very good defensively.
One. Well, if they're going to continue to play LeMahieu, though, he's going to have to play third base, because obviously when Chisholm comes back, Jazz Chisholm's your second baseman. One and two.
You know, if you are worried injury-wise, you know, second base is a lot easier on your body than third base as far as, you know, the movement and the throw. But, you know, the way DJ LeMahieu, his two at-bats today, boy, they've been good.
And the fact that he bats right-handed, which balances out that Yankee lineup.
Two balls, two strikes, two outs. McNeil's 0 for 1 with a walk.
It's been kind of an odd start if you break down Schmidt today, Coney, because, you know, he's had innings, you know, where he just cruised by, and then the next inning he'd struggle, and then you'd get 2 quick outs, and then you struggle. It hasn't been consistent, but it's been good.
It's kind of his MO, right? I mean, he battles. He's a real battler out there. Works himself into trouble every now and then with some leadoff walks, but can work himself out of trouble. And you see, to your point, the 5 strikeouts and the 5 walks tell the story.
Count is full on McNeil.
I really think watching Max Fried work will help somebody like Clark Schmidt, especially early in the games, how to get some easy outs early, get some ground balls, and not try to strike everybody out all the time. I know I talked to Meredith about that, and she talked to Clark Schmidt about that as well, about that exact point, about learning from Max Fried and how I can get deeper into games. What's the formula?
You know, you're so in tune, I'm sure, as pitchers are now, of where that 100 pitch mark is. And, you know, you take yourself back. I mean, 5th, 6th inning, you're pitching well. You never knew how many pitches you had, huh?
No, not at all. No, it was in fact, Mel Stoudemire used to miss a few on the clicker for me. I had a little side deal with Mel, and he'd forget to click the clicker. And so when Joe Torre would ask him how many pitches he got, I think it was 5 or 6 shy of what it really was.
Popped up. Backing up Volpe and makes the play, and that'll do it in the 6th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Mets lead the Yanks 2-1. Clark Schmidt's given the Yankees 6 innings. We'll take a look at some of his pitching decisions presented by Sage.
Well, when you look at Clark Schmidt, and at the end of the day, he's got his team in the game, and he makes a lot of good pitches, and as we said before, pitches himself into trouble and pitches himself out of trouble, the 5 walks and the 5 strikeouts. But once again, good quality breaking ball packages from Clark Schmidt.
See that stat? Amazing. First time in his career, 3 straight starts of 6 innings or more. Bellinger will lead off the bottom of the 6th inning. Yankees down by 1. The Yankees got their run in the 3rd. The Mets got their 2 in the 4th. Bellinger, Goldschmidt, and Dominguez. And a strike.
Is this because you don't have a pitch or because of the lineup? Because when I watched Schmidt today, he used his knuckle curve, he used the slider, but he didn't use his cutter nearly. He threw more sinkers than I've seen him throw, and kind of got away from his cut fastball.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it seemed to be. Maybe he had trouble throwing it for strikes. I think getting ahead in the count, the formula for getting strike 1 is the key for Clark Schmidt, for any pitcher, really.
High fly ball, right center field. Taylor back, turning, looking, see ya! Off the back wall of the bullpen. A 12-game hitting streak for Bellinger. A 2-2 game in the Bronx.
Well, Cody Bellinger, we said, is really turning this season around, and it's all about his mechanics. He is so much more still at the plate. You know he's got power. He's an ex-MVP. I mean, he can do some things, and he's really doing some things offensively for the Yankees during this 12-game hit streak.
Longest hit streak of his career, 13 straight, so he's 1 shy of that, and 1 away to make it 12 with a game-tying home run. Goldschmidt takes a strike. 6 home runs, 22 ribbies for Bellinger.
That was a bomb.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell when he's trying to put the ball in play and when he's trying to really drive the ball. And this is one of those little spinners that just don't do much and just sit right there until he gets hit real hard. And they might not find that one, Coney. They went a long way.
Yeah, about 430 plus feet away.
No movement right to the end, and then just a quick loop, just gone.
Ground ball, Beatty.
You'll watch him from the side. See, there's very little movement, and all of a sudden, bat head gets out in front and through. So much of a different swing than we saw earlier in the year, where he was kind of really getting to his front side too early. And Cody Bellinger can do a lot of things offensively.
What's that feel like off the bat?
Ooh, you don't feel it. That's
no vibration at all.
Yeah, right? just the perfect feeling. And as soon as that hits the bat, in your mind it clicks. That's gone. You don't have to sit and wait for it. It is amazing how quick you know as a hitter that it's out of the ballpark.
108 miles an hour off of the bat, 432 feet away.
Ground ball, and another base hit for Dominguez. Same spot in the 4th, and now here in the 6th.
Well, again, Dominguez, every time you see him get another hit, it's just more confidence in the back pocket, and you know, he's starting to become a force from the left side of the plate. The very, very comfortable ball up in the strike zone, gets to it. He shoots it up the middle. He's strong, Tony. Huh?
He generates some bat speed. You know, it is elite in terms of the measurements on how fast he swings a baseball bat.
Volpe fouls it off.
You know what? Doing anything fast is good. You can throw fast or swing it fast. Yeah. That's a good thing.
on Torrens, as Paul said earlier, and Canning, though, making sure keeping Dominguez close. You look at Dominguez, he's kind of stocky, but really heavily muscled, but he's fast. He's one of the fastest Yankees. There he goes. And that's a base hit past Alonso. Dominguez slid into second base, but gets up and hustles to third. So first and third for the Yankees with one out.
Talking about it earlier, you love to see guys in motion. It puts so much pressure on the defense. You see Dominguez, he doesn't look back to find out where the ball is. It's usually like a three-step process where you look, see if you're going to try to steal the base or keep moving. And see, he never looks back. Easy enough, though, to pick up the third base coach and cruise into third base.
Well, the Yankees first and third, one man out. It's a 2-2 game, and the Mets go to the bullpen. Well, it's time for Name That Yankee, brought to you by Prevision, made for your brain. Well, this is a top 10. This is the hardest it could be. 296 games, 180 hits, 60 stolen bases. So he was on that Met team in '86 that won a championship. He was on the 1989 Yankee team.
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Reds, Cincinnati. He was in the Natty.
Oh, man, that's making me feel real bad. Huh?
So here is Waska Brazaban.
Coney, I blocked some of those years out in Cincinnati. They weren't so great.
Chop to first. Coming home is Alonso. And they will get the Dominguez for the second out.
Well, going on contact, Dominguez did his job. It was too easy of a play with this chopper right at Alonso. Good throw. Easy out at home plate.
Good throw, good tag. And with Dominguez's speed and one out, you can understand why the contact play would be on. You should have Volpe in scoring position at second base now. Put the pressure on Alonso to make that play, and they did. And it took a good play to get Dominguez with his speed.
So here's LeMahieu. He's 2 for 2. 3 for 6 since coming off the IL. Picked up his first hit in Seattle. Has a home run and a single. Canning, a very interested observer. Runners go. The throw to third. Double steal. Volpe's in at third, Escara in at second.
Well, I don't think anybody in the Yankee lineup is as good as Volpe at stealing third base. He has a lot of success doing that. That little jump hop that he gets going, it's a great jump. Torrens very hard to steal on. And take a chance with 2 outs. Now you've got 2 runners in scoring position. Maybe you got... Maybe nothing's changed. What happened here, Michael?
Well, it seemed like there might have been a little separation between body and bag as Beatty kept the run on.
We got interference called at home plate, so that's why they send Volpe back to second base. Right there's the call.
There you go.
DJ. See if he hit him in the head or didn't get out of the way. What?
Yeah, elbowed him right in the mask. So the umpire immediately calls interference on himself.
Wow, that's costly for the Yanks.
Yeah.
1-2. Fouled away. Brazaban, pretty much a breakout arm in the Mets bullpen. Hard sinker at 96. Batters are just 4 for 31 against him with no extra base hits. 35 years old. Was always a low leverage guy, but he has worked himself into a high leverage situation for Carlos Mendoza. Hit shortly and grabbed there by Beatty. He'll get the force at second, and that'll do it. But the Yankees have tied the score, and they did it in dramatic fashion. The red-hot Cody Bellinger hits one into the back wall of the Yankee bullpen. A long ride to tie the game at 2. A beauty here in the Bronx. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. By Nissan. At Nissan, we make cars that thrill. Experience the thrill for yourself today. Shop NissanUSA.com. And by Mohegan Sun. Something's always happening at Mohegan. From the captains for both franchises, the Yankees and the Mets. Clark Schmidt still out there to start the 7th inning. Forward scoreboard. It's a 2-2 game. Mets have managed just 2 hits. Yankees 7. The Yankees have left 6 runners on base. The Mets have left 4 runners on base. So it'll be the bottom third of the order for the Mets, starting with Luis Torrens.
And you wonder if Schmidt's out there just to get Torrens, with Beatty a lefty on deck.
Line drive, it's a base hit. So a leadoff single for the Met catcher. And that will do it for Schmidt. So with the lefty Beatty coming up, they bring in Leiter, who has the great splitter that plays well against left-handed batters.
Yeah, it was matchup city. You know, rarefied air for Clark Schmidt in the 7th inning. Aaron Boone gave him a shot. Didn't work.
Well, he'll get a nice hand. Another good performance. Leiter's coming in to face Beatty in a 2-2 game in the 7th. It's time for the Audi Electric Moment. Experience a fully electric Audi vehicle at your local Tri-State Audi dealer today. David, take it over. There's your guy. Perfect game in 1998.
Yeah, a perfect game by one imperfect dude, but what a dude he was. And how good he was that day and the rest of the season there. And boy, you just see the emotion right there, getting carried off the field at Yankee Stadium. There's nothing like that. Strawberry right there, the former Met. And 21 seasons that guy pitched.
I can remember catching that last out and running in, and I looked at Boomer. I said, Boomer, I threw the ball in the stands. And he was so crazy, he didn't even know it. And I said, yeah, I'm just kidding. Here's your ball.
So Mark Leiter pitched yesterday. He's in here today. And he strikes out a lot of people. 36.1% strikeout percentage rate. And that's why they bring him in against left-handers, that pitch. I've asked you this before, fly ball like that. Are you nervous you're going to drop it?
No, that was an easy play. I mean, the last thing you want is a sinking line drive or a tough play at the wall or something like that. But, yeah, an easy fly ball. All the pressure was off. That was a good thing.
You played in 3 perfect games. Must be you.
Yeah. Everybody said, you know, you're the only person ever done. Yeah, but doesn't that mean you're on teams with good pitching staffs, right?
Could be. Let's see if there's 2. There's 1. Not enough time, as Volpe had a little bit of a double clutch, but they get the force.
Yeah, Beatty runs well, and anything that doesn't happen smoothly in the double play kind of rolled up DJ's glove, and then all of a sudden a little fumble at second base, and you don't turn 2. Boy, off the bat, as a pitcher, you're hoping. You think you got what you needed, right?
Yeah, difference between a left-handed hitter and a right-handed hitter there. Beatty out of the box quickly.
So here is a Taylor. And a strike. Hey, support America's military and first responder heroes. Donate $11 a month to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation at T2T.org. Deep left center field. On the run is Dominguez, and he can't make the play. It's up against the wall. Backing up is Bellinger. He's going to fire it in. They're going to try to make the play at home. The throw is in time. They get Beatty trying to score. A perfect relay by the Yankees.
Well, I tell you, the relay happened when Cody Bellinger went in front and got an unbelievable carom off the wall and then got it into Volpe. I'm sure there's going to be a replay, but we can watch it here and see if he got him before. He's out. I don't think you can change that, huh?
Yeah, they're going to try to take a look at it. But the interesting part here is the umpires had to rotate. Home plate umpire went to third base on that double in the gap. So the first base umpire is down at home plate making that call.
Yeah,
his
left foot came up, and instead of going across the plate, his left foot come up. And look at Bellinger. What a smart play. He cuts in front, and he gets the ricochet and hit a strike to Volpe. I mean, the chances of that being close at the plate. You got to have unbelievable accuracy. Everything went right on this play.
And his foot came up. Ascara, a great play by staying back and playing that hop. And still giving a lane for the runner to slide.
I'm not quite sure how they could overturn that.
Well, it looked like his left foot came up. Instead of crossing home plate, it came up before home plate.
Our challenge replay was brought to you by Citizens Made Ready. Great rotation by the umpires and a really strong call by the first base umpire, Adam Hamari.
I tell you, what a play. If you break that down, relays had to be perfect, and that's just as good as it gets.
Absolutely. Great baseball play all the way around. From the Mets, you take the chance, you send them. Great relay, Bellinger, Volpe, Ascara on the back end. Well done all the way around.
There's Lindor, runner at second. 2 men out. Try to pick him off. Yankees flashing some weather right now.
Wow, those are the kind of plays that, I mean, in a 2-2 game that you'll look back at the Yankees win and say, this is why we did win. I mean, that just took a run off the board.
He brought the crowd to life. You know, very exciting baseball play.
There's a curveball. 0-1. On deck is Soto.
This is a relay, Mike. Todd Zeal in the World Series hit one off the wall, and we had a perfect relay from left field and threw out. Who we throw out?
Bunt.
Timo. That's right. Timo Perez. Yeah.
Because he wasn't running hard all the way.
Exactly.
He thought it was gone. Count on Lindor. He's going to call time. That play certainly produced a buzz in the crowd. The pitch. Ground ball. Backhanded line by LeMahieu. To first. Got him. What a play on both ends. As the Yankees get out of the top of the 7th inning.
How many challenges do we have here? I don't think you can.
DJ from yesteryear, little throwback, the old Glover, showing he's got something left today. And yes, when you're on the mound, they make defense plays behind you like that. Yeah, you're going to shout.
No runs, 2 hits, and nobody left on base. It was that close. Lindor can't believe it. It's time for the 7th inning stretch in a 2-2 game. We're going to stay right here as they honor America in New York.
Welcome an honored military guest. United States Navy Chief Petty Officer Ariel Colon Jr. from the Bronx, who served in Operation Iraqi Freedom. The Yankees say thank you, Ariel, for your sacrifice and service to our nation. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join us in singing along with Robert Merrill's rendition of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean, white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet
Time for your Ford Studio Update. Bob and Jack with you. Pre-game, we talked a lot about Cody Bellinger's bat. Let's throw in a little defense in the 7th.
Athleticism, versatility, power. The Yankees talked about all those things when they acquired Bellinger, and across the last half hour, Bob, we've seen examples of it. The game-tying home run, and now that terrific relay to Volpe to help cut down the potential go-ahead run. Now it's a battle of the bullpens. Yankees trying to go ahead.
We'll talk Bellinger and more when John Flaherty joins us on the postgame. See you then, guys.
Thank you, guys. So it's 2-2. Yankees have 7 hits. The Mets have 4. Canning went 5 and a third. Alonso an RBI single. Schmidt went 6+. LeMahieu and Cody Bellinger, the Yankee offense, with solo home runs. And as the guys just talked about, the defense that inning was special. And that's what kept the game tied. So Trent Grisham is going to pinch hit for Bibas to start off the 7th inning against Brazoban. Now, interesting thing, you've got to be somewhat cunning with the use of challenges. They challenged the play at home plate, and it was clear that he was out. But they probably figured, well, let's just throw it out there. Maybe it shows us something that the replay doesn't see. Maybe they have a replay that we're not sure of. Once they do that, they've used their challenge, and they could not challenge that play. Now, it turns out that he was, in fact, out. It was that close, but they couldn't use the challenge because their challenge was already used up. And their thinking was, well, it's the 7th inning. After that, we could just use it and ask the umpires, and they'll do it on their own discretion. That's why you really have to be careful when you use your challenges.
Well, I tell you, looking back at that inning, I remember we did that game, Michael. I said, you know, the 7th inning, I think we had 7 or 8 hits. It's probably offensively the best inning you're going to see all year. You might have just seen the best defensive inning the Yankees will put together all year. Great play by DJ LeMahieu, and before that relay off the wall to get him at home plate. Those are great defensive plays.
Congratulations to Trent Grisham on being voted the Montefiore Einstein Player of the Week, and what a week it was. He had a triple, 2 home runs, 2 ribbies, an OPS of .955. Strong 5 games for Trent Grisham, now coming up the bench to pinch hit for Bibas here in the bottom of the 7th. Another thing that we should know, we looked at the backing up of Bellinger. That ball over the head of Dominguez had a 5% catch probability, but he made it so close that the runner had to hold up just a bit. He couldn't take off and say that's in there, and the play was so close at home plate. The fact that he made it close played a factor in that.
The speed part, right? Dominguez can fly. Covered some ground there.
Great inning because there's so much to unpack. So many things happened, and so many things could have gone wrong, and they all went right for the Yankees, and they went wrong for the Mets in the top of the 7th. 3-2. Chop slowly, left side. Beatty fields, and we'll get Grisham for the first out. Well, let's check out the T-Mobile coverage cam. And here's the play we're talking about. Very close to catching that, but then a great heads-up play by Bellinger.
Yeah, that was tremendous. I mean, just to be there, you knew you didn't have a play. You kind of looped around, but then again, you still got to get that last out. And DJ LeMahieu, just a great stop, and Lindor has good wheels, so a great play.
Here's Ben Rice. Grounded sharply to Lindor. Rice hustling down the line. He's out. 2 away. That brings up the captain, Aaron Judge. He's 0 for 3 today. His average has dropped 7 points from 414 to 407. Grounded foul. Yankees won last night 6-2. It was the middle game of the 3-game set. Final games tomorrow night, Sunday Night Baseball. Peterson against Max Fried. Right in on the hands. Sounds like it could have been a broken bat. The Judge is not asking for a new one.
I was thinking first pitch going, it was a changeup. But if you're a hitter, you look up at the board, changeup 92, and you're like, oh boy. And then This last one was 99.
Yeah. Right on your thumbs.
Tim Hill was up earlier. He's up again. He's at Harkey University right now. Oh, 2 on Judge. Cutter just misses the outside corner, 1-2. Two and two. And the red-hot Bellinger's on deck. Swing and a miss. Got him. On a cutter. Yankees go down in order against Brazoban. We'll go to the 8th inning of a 2-2 game. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicles of the Yankees, and by Delta, the official airline of the New York Yankees. Delta, keep climbing. We go to the 8th inning. Tim Hill, the new Yankee pitcher. And he'll face Soto, Alonso, and Nimmo. Peraza takes over at third base. And Soto greeted with his usual chorus of boos as he takes a strike. 1 for 2 with a walk. He's had 4 walks so far in the first 2 games. One and one. Waves at that pitch. 1-2.
Got a phone booth swing here, Paulie. You don't see that from Soto too often. Completely fooled. Little sword.
Drilled down the right field line, foul. Still 1-2.
It's hard to imagine with that delivery against lefty. He does it with sinker. As a lefty, you're always in the back of your mind with this delivery. He's got to have a big slurve or a slider. He just does it with sinkers, huh?
Yeah, he's just chucking it in there and relying on his life and movement.
2-2.
A little slider there for show.
Tim Hill is a guy, he's not afraid of anything. He just, here, hit this. You see how he excelled in the World Series, the postseason. He has been great for the Yanks. Fly ball left field, Dominguez. And they retire Soto. Now, usually, when you see Grisham pinch hit, they're going to have a double switch and keep him in the game defensively. They decided not to do that. They want to keep Dominguez's bat in the lineup. So that's why Peraza takes over third base and Grisham's day is over. So Matt Blake will come out and talk as Alonso's ready to hit. Kind of a strange trip. We knew Alonso was coming up here.
This is like the scene from Bull Durham, right? Where they're talking about the wedding registry.
Courtney, I was just saying, you just got an easy out. What are you talking about here? You'd be all for
Candlesticks.
This. You'd be all for this. The pitcher, coach, come out and talk to you right now, right?
Yes. Get out of here.
I'm doing my job. I got an out already.
I got a sinker. Get out of here.
I got a sinker.
Well, the conference is over. Alonso at the plate. Left center field, and that is going to be in there for a base hit. Splits the outfielders, and it goes to the wall. Bellinger will get the ball in. It's a double for Alonso, his second hit of the afternoon.
Well, the sinker didn't sink. It just kind of sat right there. And Alonso has not been swinging the bat as well as you did at the beginning. But if you make a mistake like that, kind of lucky it's in the ballpark.
Got one middle in and barreled it up.
Oh, look at that extension. Now you see why he can produce so many home runs.
So here's Nimmo against the lefty Hill. 0-1. Nimmo has an 8-game hitting streak on the line. He's 0 for 2 with a walk today. Beautiful Saturday afternoon. Big crowd here in the Bronx. Second game of this 3-game set. 0-2.
That's literally the pitch. You look at the outfield arms, all good arms. That sinker in on the hands of a lefty, literally a pitch that I don't know how anybody gets to as a left-handed hitter.
Yeah, just especially from the window it's coming from.
Goldschmidt beats Nimmo to the bag for the second out as Alonso moves to third.
Coney, you talked about it earlier, these 2-out runs. I mean, if Hill can save this and you still go in to give your offense an opportunity with 2-2, what a big pickup.
Yeah, especially at home, right? That's baseball's version of momentum right here.
Well, with Vientos due up, well, Boone's going to go to the bullpen. Call on a righty. Runner at third, 2 men out. Trying to name that Yankee. It was a tough one. One of the toughest of the year. You see the clues, you see the numbers. And as the kid from Co-op City in New York, it's Stan Jefferson. Played a little bit for the Yankees and was part of the deal that the Mets sent to get Kevin McReynolds. He was supposed to be an absolute star. It didn't work out that way. A lot of great natural skill. Stan Jefferson. So the Yankees bring in Fernando Cruz. It's always a little bit, and you see the resume on Jefferson. A little scary to have a guy who has a great splitter with a guy on third base. Puts a lot of pressure on Escala. Strike.
And you look at Alonso thinking the same thing on the pitch, way down the third baseline. Anything close, he'll take an opportunity to try to score.
The 0-1 from Cruz. And there's that splitter, 0-2. We're in the 8th inning, 2-2. Tie-breaking runners at third base. That's Pete Alonso. 2 men out. Cruz, the 4th Yankee pitcher. Scara 6th in the major league in blocking. He's +3 blocks above average. David and I were walking the bowels of the stadium yesterday, and they were working on blocking pitches in the dirt. What was that, 3.5 hours before the game?
Yes. Every day, a daily routine for Yankee catchers.
It was like an alleyway right outside the Yankee clubhouse, and they have a pitching machine. They just throw balls in what would be the dirt, and the catcher has to put his body in front of it. Long set. And the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Got him on the splitter. So Boone presses the right button as Cruz gets Vientos. And the Mets strand a runner at third base. Little spin. Big drop. Big strikeout. Well, this year marks Yogi Berra's 100th birthday, and the Yankees have a special giveaway to help commemorate it. On Friday, June 6th, the first 18,000 guests will receive a special Yogi Berra U.S. Navy bobblehead that recognizes his military service, courtesy of State Farm. Tickets are going fast, so get yours today at Yankees.com. Reed Garrett in for the Mets. And he deals to Bellinger a strike. Bellinger with a home run in the 6th inning tied the game. Garrett's had a good year. 2 earned runs. More than a strikeout per inning. He walks too many, though. Mets bullpen a little different than last night. They sent down Nunez. They bring up Castillo, second left-hander. Take it to the optimum. Don't take slow for an answer replay. Nothing slow about this.
Yeah, 432 feet.
Three and one.
Bellinger hit 18 home runs last year. If he played in Yankee Stadium, it would have been about 6 more, 24.
And he works a leadoff walk here in the 8th inning. He's got speed. Devin Williams had a great inning last night with 3 strikeouts. He's warming up for the Yankees. And as we said, Weaver probably not available if the Yankees take a lead here, so it would be Williams who would come on to close. And if they stay tied, I guess they could still have Cruz pitch the ninth. Here's Goldschmidt. This should be 2. There's 1. And there's 2.
Well, kind of whether you say you can't aim it. The ball hit pretty hard, but it's easy double play. This is Lindor gloved it.
Difference between production and direction. Produced 98 miles an hour off the bat. The direction right at him. Tailor-made.
There's Dominguez. He's 2 for 3 today. We're going to untie the game with that swing. 0-1. Good splitter.
If you're wondering why Trent Grisham just pinch hit, it was for this guy, so he can get this at bat right here. Otherwise, if Grisham stays in the game, Dominguez probably has to come out.
And if Grisham stayed in the game, then Peraza would be up now.
There you go.
Due up for the Mets, top of the 9th inning, McNeil, Lorenz, and Beatty. One and 2. Volpe on deck. Grounded foul. In the bottom of the 8th inning, beautiful Saturday. Second game of the Subway Series, second game of 6 these two teams will play in the regular season this year. And it's not a fever dream that they could meet in the World Series. Both teams are in first place. That's certainly their intent, is to get there. But right now, 6 scheduled. This is the second. 2-2.
I think he wanted that pitch, Paulie.
Yeah. I think he Torrance thought he got it too.
Got to reach over, setting up away. You got to reach over on the inside corner. Ooh, close.
3-2. There really has not been that much barking at the home plate umpire. Been pretty fair with the strike zone. Carlos Mendoza, Met manager. Longtime coach in the Yankee system. Bench coach for Aaron Boone. First year with the Mets, he took them to the National League Championship Series last year. Garrett with the payoff. And a walk. As Dominguez will take first. Impressive his strike zone recognition for a young kid.
Absolutely. He's always had that too, really. His minor league days, that was his calling card, was elite command of the strike zone.
Anton Richardson giving the signals to the outfielders to move in.
Well, you got nothing over your head here, no doubles. That's the only way that Dominguez scores.
I wanted Nimmo to back up, and he does, almost going to the warning track for Volpe. Pitch inside.
Ooh, slow delivery from Garrett out there. He's gettable. Dominguez can get a jump. There's no slide step there, just a high leg kick.
Now, Volpe hits one over the head of Nimmo now. It's probably going to be in the seats. 2-0 on Anthony. Volpe 1 for 3. And a quick conference on the mound. You know, we saw Anton Richardson there. He's the Mets' first base coach. Obviously helps with the outfielders, and he's a big part of Yankee history. It was Anton Richardson who scored on Derek Jeter's final hit at Yankee Stadium, where fantasy became reality. It was Anton Richardson who slid across home plate to win the game. Good trivia question for your next cocktail party, Paul.
I'm going to write that one down.
Yeah.
Keep that in my holster. That's a good one.
Two and one.
Good count to run on here. You know, we had a 2-0 count. He's waited. You get a good read on the pitcher and his move to home plate. Kind of a long delivery. You're going to take a shot. Right now's the time.
Two and two. Escara on deck. Garrett, 32 years old, 5th big league season. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner at first. 2-2 game. Volpe has 6 home runs on the season, 25 ribbies, tied with Bobby Witt, second most among shortstops in the American League. That one's lined into right field. It's a base hit. It's going to go to the wall. Dominguez is off to the races. They're going to hold him at third as Soto got the ball in quickly. It's a double for Volpe.
Well, what a piece of hitting. And but Juan Soto knows this ballpark, and he got to a good angle where he got a good carom off the wall. Really no chance for Dominguez. You had to just almost offer a horrible throw, but he got this ball in quick. Not much you can do.
Yeah, short porch and right. Outfielder gets to it quicker. The only way if Dominguez was in motion beforehand, which I certainly thought they might send him, but they didn't. He didn't seem to be able to get a read. But nonetheless, another good at-bat from Anthony Volpe.
So Hefner goes out and talks with Garrett as they decide how they're going to attack J.C. Escara. Escara 0 for 2 with a walk today. Yankees have runners on second and third. It's a 2-2 game, bottom of the 8th inning.
Remember, early in the game, Michael, we had that parlay. Wasn't it an RBI by Escara? That was the only one I don't think we've covered yet.
So. That was one of them. Well, here you go. Way high.
Wow, the Mets very fortunate there because catchers, as they lunge, they kind of lose the ball sometimes with the mask. But that's just a stab right there.
Yeah, split finger slipped.
That one blocked. Didn't get away far enough. 2-0. That's what's left on the Yankees bench. Reyes from the right side, Austin Wells from the left. LeMahieu on deck for the Yankees.
A really good take by Escara. That's a pitch you could go after if you're a little over, you know, just you anticipate a strike and you just ground out.
The 3-0 almost hit him. Ball 4. Now that conference at the mound, there's no way they said don't give him anything to hit. We have a right hand on deck. I mean, LeMay is a much more accomplished hitter.
Well, it seems like it's his day, right?
Yeah.
So it's all set up for DJ LeMahieu, the redemption day for him. He's done it with the bat. The home run early to right field. We've seen him do that many times in his Yankee career. And that emotion tells you all you need to know about what this man has been through. And Johnny on the spot right here with the bases loaded.
Also made a splendid play at second base to end the Met threat as well to get Lindor at first. Bases loaded, 2 men out. That one's lined into right field, and Soto is right there to make the play. So he hit it well, but right at Soto. No runs, a hit, 3 walks, and the bases are left loaded. There's the emotion as we go to the 9th. All right, today's injury report brought to you by Monitor Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Jake Cousins is shut down for 4 to 5 days, pectoral discomfort. Currently on the 60-day IL with an elbow flexor strain. They did some tests. You know, you worry about the pectoral muscle if it leads to something shoulder, but they don't think it's that. They think that he's going to be okay, but they shut him down out of an abundance of caution. So with the game tied, they stay with Cruz here in the top of the 9th inning. That'll be McNeil, Luis Torrens, and Brett Beatty. McNeil 0 for 2 with a walk. 1-0. McNeil 4 for his last 25. Broken bat, foul ball. Gonna get some new lumber.
Well, if you could just show that 4-seam fastball one like that in on somebody, you start to open up as a left-handed hitter, and that becomes impossible to hit that split finger.
Yes. Command of his 4-seamer really is a difference maker for him, because that splitter is just devastating.
You know, we watched the other night with Williams as well as he threw, and that's what it all came down to, is the command of his fastball.
Exactly.
That one just missed. 5th sellout of the year here at Yankee Stadium. Announced crowd of 47,510. Slightly, I think, 190 fewer than yesterday's crowd, which was the largest crowd of the year. Lined in the left center field, but Bellinger got a good jump, hauls it in for the first out.
You know, we've said it a lot. It just, you know, how good he is. It's not easy to just change positions on a major league field and play them all well. And, you know, you can understand some corner outfielders that could be, but you go center field, left field, first base. That's hard to do. That's just not something everybody can do.
Well, you said it. Play him well, too.
There's a Met catcher who is 1 for 2 with a walk. Pitch upstairs from Cruz, 1-0. Well, that's who's coming up in the bottom of the 9th. Peraza, Rice, and Judge. On Torrens. A lot of shakes. Whole lot of shaking. There's a strike.
Yeah, those are the pitches that really change the count for a hitter. I mean, that's a borderline pitch if, and you know, you get the call as a pitcher. Now you're back in the count.
0-1.
Well, he got Beatty on deck. He's 5 home runs on the year, so he does have some pop. Torrens 1.
And there's ball 4. Let's see if the Mets go for a pinch runner. And it looks like they will. And it is Zokar. No, it's Acuna. My bad.
We talked about Acuna's speed last night. He was in the starting lineup, and he had a year in the minor leagues a couple years ago where he sold nearly 80 bases. So no stranger to stealing bases.
And that'll bring up Beatty with Acuna at first. So that's one of the 2 throws over. That one just gets the outside corner. Beatty didn't like that. 0-1.
Good timing there, Coney. Really held him a long time, and that time almost just came to a stop and took off. So, you know, it's given Acuna a different look. He did use the fastball. I don't think that you can go away from your forkball just worried about Acuna stealing a base, huh?
Absolutely. It's much harder to vary your delivery because of the pitch clock now. But if I'm a pitcher, I'm getting on the mound quickly. I want to force the batter in the box sooner, so you can hold the ball right now. Now you have about 9-8 seconds to work with right now.
Skied the other way, and that'll be out of play.
Conversely, if I'm a hitter, I would stay out of the box until the last minute, so about 11-10 seconds, because you have to acknowledge the pitcher at the 8-second part.
Right.
So this is the cat and mouse game right here between hitter and runner and pitcher that has really kind of become interesting because of the pitch clock.
Grounded and grabbed there by LeMahieu, and he can't get a hold of the baseball as Beatty gets himself a single, and moving to second is Acuna.
Well, he came up with it, but he could not get it out of his glove to make a throw from his knees. Knocked it down. It looked like his glove just got bent over, and then it kind of squirted out and could not grab it. Well, if you're Cruz, you know, you go to your best stuff. If they're going to steal a base, you're going to steal a base, but you're looking for an out here. Obviously, Acuna with 1 out, you know, it's dangerous. You don't want to just give him third base, but you know, the most important thing is get the outs at the plate.
Yeah, look for a chance for a pickoff, a play at second base.
So here's Taylor. 0-1.
The Yankees have been really good at putting this play on from the dugout, so where the pitcher will just key off of the catcher's glove and a timing play to pick off somebody like Acuna at second base.
Look at DJ LeMahieu really close to second base, trying to hold him close.
So all be run from the dugout. The Yankees bench will put on a play if necessary, if they see an opportunity.
And that
got everybody.
Hit Taylor and hit Escara, and the bases are now loaded for Lindor.
Aaron Boone thinks maybe it just hit Escara. Take a look here. Yeah, it hit him on the arm, and then oof. I don't want to talk about the second part of it.
Well, Boone's saying he also swung because the swing supersedes the hit by pitch, but the first base umpire said no. Not so crazy to ask. It was close.
I think Ascara said was that not a foul ball, but no, it hit him in the forearm. That was before the lights went up for Ascara.
Yes. So you want to be a catcher.
Well, big spot in this game with Francisco Lindor at the plate. Bases loaded. One man out, and lurking on deck is Juan Soto. Acuna at third, Beatty at second, Towers at first. Yankees at short and second are halfway. They'd like to get the double play, but they also would come home. One and 0.
Well, this is where Cruz needs his best forkball. I mean, you got to look for a strikeout or a jam shot or something to keep the ball in the infield. That was a big pitch right there, not getting ahead, huh?
Yes, you got to be able to throw for a strike as well.
Two 2-0, no place to put Lindor. Lindor is 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. It's a 2-2 game, top of the 9th inning. Mets threatening.
He got this pitch before, but he did not get it there. Now you're in a mess, Coney. You're 3-0, huh?
Taking all the way. 3-1. Lindor has 12 home runs in 55 games against the Yanks.
You got to throw a strike and hope for an atom ball.
Popped up. Is it deep enough? There's the catch. The throw home is not in time. A sac fly as Acuna scores from third, and the Mets lead 3-2.
I think Cody Bellinger is a little frustrated because Dominguez didn't get out of the way where he could stay behind the baseball and have some momentum going towards the plate. If you watch this, he was kind of in between, and then he got caught flat-footed. And then you can't really make a great throw as an outfielder.
Would have been a tough chance with Acuna running, too.
So here is Soto and his soundtrack. First and second, 2 outs. Right at Volpe. He'll go to the bag, and that'll do it. But the Mets take the lead. And we'll go to the bottom of the 9th inning. 2 up third in the inning. The Yankee captain, Aaron Judge, as the Yankees going to have to rally as they're down by 1. Well, it's time for the upcoming schedule, brought to you by your local Tri-State Buick dealers. Final of this series is a Sunday night baseball affair on ESPN. Monday's an off day, then the Texas Rangers come to town. 2 night games, Tuesday and Wednesday. And then Thursday, getaway day as they go to the West Coast again at 12:35 start. Another 9-game West Coast swing. Colorado, Anaheim, and LA for the Dodgers. So, bottom of the 9th inning, it's 3-2 Mets, trying to even the series at a game apiece. And they're going to go to the bench, the pinch hit for Peraza. Austin Wells will start it off, and the Yankees are going to have to do their damage against Edwin Diaz. Alvarez takes over behind the plate. Diaz is 9 for 9 in save opportunities this year. Acuna stays in and plays second base in place of McNeil. Has a great ERA lifetime against the Yankees, 1.59. So Diaz against the pinch hitter Wells. Starts him off with 97 and a swing and a tip. One and one. Goes to 99. 1-2. It'll be Wells, Rice, and Judge here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Diaz, 31 years old, 9th big league season. Fastball not what it once was, but the first two have been pretty good. 2-2. On Wells, trying to get his way on base here to start off the bottom of the 9th.
Good take right there. Right up the heart of the plate, a slider down.
Swing and a miss. Got him on the slider. One away. Well, fans, after the final, I'll get highlights, analysis, clubhouse interviews, and we'll hear from Aaron Boone on the manager's report. All coming up on the WB Mason Yankees postgame. And remember, Yes has postgame coverage after every single Yankees game, including tomorrow's nationally televised Sunday night game.
Well, you see this slider. I mean, he's starting him off with 2 hard fastballs and then 4 consecutive sliders. None of them strikes, but as a hitter, you get to 3-2. All of a sudden, you get a little more aggressive, and you got a swing and a miss.
It's the fastball by him. Actually, a foul ball into the glove of Alvarez, and the count 0-2. Judge on deck. One and 2. 100 miles an hour. His fastball has been about 96 this year. But we've seen 98. We just saw 100, so he's extra pumped up. Broken bat looper, and it's caught by Beatty for the second out. And it comes down to Diaz against Judge. He's 0 for 2 and 2 at-bats against the Met closer with 1 strikeout. A rare 0-4 up to this point for Judge. He's 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts.
Everybody up.
Drops the slider in for a strike. Judge 15 home runs, 41 runs batted in. Yankees down to their final strike, 0-2 on Judge. Lays off that slider, 1-2. And the pitch. 2-2. Bellinger's on deck. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th, 3-2 Mets. Stays alive.
Well, I think that's the only fastball you're going to see in this count, Conan. It was a fastball up out of the strike zone, and Judge ready for it, but it was 99.
He's had a couple good swings in this sequence here.
Yeah.
Slider up, and that one there, a fastball.
I would imagine it's back to the slider.
So the count is full.
He threw the 3-2 slider to Wells. If he's got the same approach to Judge.
So it comes down to this on this Saturday afternoon in the Bronx. It's been a tight game, a nail-biter. Yankees down by 1. And Judge at the plate against Diaz. 2 outs. Swing and a miss. He got him. He went with the fastball. And the Mets win 3-2. Yankees go down in order in the bottom of the 9th inning, and the series is tied at a game apiece.
That was a well-played, tight game on both sides, but this is a tough thing to do. I mean, again, he went to his slider, and then all of a sudden he got one fastball up in the strike zone. He was not able to square it up. But Aaron Judge is looking to do one thing, and that's to tie it up. And the slider in the back of your mind after that, and now 3-2, up and in, strike 3. Mets go home with the win.
Yeah, got a little over anxious here. He had a couple good swings in this sequence and then chases way up on that one. That's very uncharacteristic of Aaron Judge, but certainly a big spot and a 3-2 pitch. He tries to go up and get it and cannot climb the ladder.
And an uncharacteristic day for the captain of the Yankees. 0 for 5 in this wondrous season so far with 3 strikeouts, including the strikeout to end the game. So Diaz 10 for 10 in saves. The Mets and the Yankees will split the first 2. We'll come back with awards and then the postgame after that. And that's beat the Yankees 3-2 when we take a look at the Cadillac drive of the game.
Well, the drive of the game became a sacrifice fly. Acuna at third base, tremendous speed, but you see a little hesitation there where Cody Bellinger got flat-footed. Dominguez not out of the way. Couldn't get much on the throw, but with Acuna, you never know with his speed. Probably didn't have a chance, but, that's what outfielders are for. Cody Bellinger probably talked to him about it. Just completely get out of the way. Let me stay behind the ball and give it my best effort.
And that took place after the game was over. They were still talking about it in the dugout, and it looks like they certainly understand what each other wants. 3-6-0 for the Mets, 2-8-0 for the Yanks. Took 2 hours and 57 minutes. Garrett the win. Diaz 10 for 10 in saves. Cruz, he took the loss. Lindor had the go-ahead sac fly. LeMahieu and Bellinger each with solo home runs, accounting for the Yankee offense. Coming up on the S Network, stay tuned for the W.B. Mason postgame show with Bob Lorenz, Jack Curry, and John Flaherty. Special thanks to producer Troy Benjamin, director Dan Barr, Mike Webb, and the executive producer of the S Network is Jared Ames Bosnack. Join us again on Tuesday as the Yankees welcome the Rangers to the Bronx for a 3-game series. Coverage begins at 6 on Yes, with first pitch coming shortly after 7. Again, the final score of the Mets 3 and the Yankees 2. For David Cohn, Paul O'Neill, and Meredith Morakovitz, I'm Michael Kay saying see ya from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Now let's go to Bob Lorenz, Jack Curry, and John Flaherty, standing by in our Yes Network studios with the post-game show. Guys?